Hi everyone, welcome to Dusty Shelf. I do hope I find you well. Well, it's that time of year. Basically we're approaching Remembrance Sunday, and this time last year I reviewed this model that you see here. This is For the Fallen. It's a Class 91 Virgin Railways loco, and it by Hornby Railways, as you see. And the livery on this, at the time when I reviewed this, I said it is absolutely probably one of the best locos that Hornby have ever done. Now, I don't make a habit of doing this, but I am going to re-release the video that I recorded a year ago, which you'll see coming up in a few minutes. Basically, it didn't get many views, and I thought this was a wonderful loco. Had a little bit of trouble running around the track, so what I'm going to do today, I just want to talk a little bit about the prices of these before we get into the video that was shown last year. And then I will go through, and there's a couple of bits and pieces that I'm going to re-edit, but by and large it will be exactly what was released last year. So if you're one of the few hundred people that did watch it last year, it is essentially the same video. And if you haven't seen it, do have a look at this lovely loco. I mean, the livery on it is absolutely second to none. So before I run into the video of last year, let's just talk a little bit about the prices of these. So currently Hornby sell a Class 91 for £244. It's in the catalogue. It's R30165 and it's the LNER Flying Scotsman. £244, as I say. Now this one, probably 2-3 years old now, probably 3 years old. I believe it was just under the £200 mark, and these did sell out before they even hit the shelves on pre-orders. This is R3892. Now these are just beginning to hit the second-hand market, and there are a few for sale, £600-700 mark, which is absolutely ridiculous, people trying it on. But I did see with interest a few of these have sold, a few examples have sold recently between £350 and £400, which I think is an awful lot of money for a loco. But I think with this, with the livery, with the printing on it, I think in some ways that kind of price tag possibly could be justified. And for me, this loco, this will always stay in my collection. I love the subject matter on the side of it. It's very thought-provoking, and yeah, probably one of my favourite locos that I have. With that said, I'm now going to pass over to a slightly younger me to introduce the video that, as I say, I put online last year, which goes into the detail on the background of this lovely loco and shows it running around one of the layouts. There will be some slight edits in there, but in all intents and purposes, it's the video that I did put up a year ago. Hi everyone, welcome to Dusty Shelf Collectibles. Today reviewing a Class 91 from Hornby. So I've been thinking about this one for a while, and with this being Remembrance Weekend, I thought it's quite apt to review this particular loco. So this is, as I say, Class 91. This is For the Fallen by Hornby, released a couple of years back, and we'll go through all the details in that in a bit. In researching this, I found out that 20,000 railwaymen didn't return from the First World War, and up and down the East Coast main line on many of the stations there are little plaques and memorials to those that didn't return. This Class 91 was unveiled by Virgin Trains in 2014, the 100th anniversary of the First World War. The livery is by a designer called Paul Gentleman, and as I say, it's just in commemoration of those that lost their lives in the First World War that were connected to the railways, and particularly the East Coast Main Line. What we'll do is we'll take this over to the bench and have a look at the loco and obviously the livery. I have to say this is one of the best liveries I think Hornby have ever done. I am so impressed with it. So obviously I've had a look inside the box just to try and work out what I'm going to say on the video, I think it's really good, but you can make your own mind up. So let's take this over to the bench and let's have a look inside. Right, before we get into the box and the loco, let me just bring across the catalogues. So I just want to talk about these very quickly. So first announcement of this particular loco was in 2020. This was the anniversary year, and in here, announcement of the Class 91. This was a newly tooled loco with 4 different versions, and just down the bottom here there's a note that R3892 For the Fallen, and gives a brief description about what the loco will be. That was back in 2020. Moving on, following on to 2021, again into the catalogue, and this time we get the first sort of print of what the loco will look like, again saying that it will be out some point in 2021. don't believe it arrived. And then finally, and then in 2022, down the bottom here, you can see the loco for the Fallen R3892. And you can see the livery there, and this is when it did hit the shops. I say hit the shops because I do believe it was sold out before it was released. So yeah, I was very lucky to get one. So let's have a quick look around the box. And before I start, I'll apologise about the state of my fingernails. I've been working on the car this week, trying to change the alternator, and yeah, it's a little bit grubby under there, and I can't get rid of the last bits of oil off my hands. So I do apologise for that, but hopefully that won't distract too much. Anyway, so we've got this beautiful livery shown on the side here. I mean, it's stunning, absolutely stunning. Before we even get on to how this is printed onto, you know, a Hornby Railways model. So, Virgin Class 91, Bobo for the Fallen, number 91111. And over the back here, we've got a schematic and a little bit of information there about the loco. We'll go into that in a minute. I've got some words to read out that when we look at the detail of the actual loco. But anyway, let's get into the box and see what's in here. I'll just put the lid to one side. Standard packaging here. In the box, we've got instructions on fitting the 21-pin socket, the decoder if you want to use the light functions, and your standard instructions there for a Class 91, just telling you all the different little bits of accessories, vacuum pipes and things that can go on there, and your lubrication points, how the pantographs work, and also the switch on the bottom on the underside to toggle between the lights between night and day models. And we'll come on to that in a minute, because either I'm missing something or I've got a fault with my loco, because it doesn't seem to do a great deal other than turn on and off one of the front side lights. But I'll show you that in a bit. Standard Hornby packaging, so we'll just slide off the outside layer here, and we've got a little pack here of different bits of detailing. So I'm just going to slide this additional packet out of here, and I'll just bring these out. I don't want to get these out, but there's all different vacuum pipes and things in there that hopefully you can see. And then in this packet we have a couple of name plates for the Fallen. Hopefully that's coming out on there, and again one for the other side for the Fallen there. Just going to pick that vacuum pipe up that's dropped out the packet. I don't want to lose that. Right. Okay, and then the standard packaging from Hornby. If we just undo this end, I do like this, the way that you lift this off, and then the loco is, as I always say, is presented to you, which is rather nice. And just lift it out of the box there. And I'll just move this out the way. And before we get into any detail, that is absolutely stunning. I am convinced this is one of the best liveries that, you know, in quality, in subject matter, that Hornby has done. I think it is absolutely beautiful. Yeah, absolutely stunning. What a loco. I'll just lift round to the front and the other side. Yeah, I'm kind of lost for words. I don't really know how to describe it other than to say how perfect it is. I mean, there's not a blemish on it, and you know, it is something quite special indeed. Now the loco itself is quite heavy. I'll just go and weigh it. Let's just pop it on the scales. It's coming in at 531 grams, which is a really nice weight for a loco. Just move this out to one side. And let's talk about the detailing on it. So, indeed, lovely cab detailing, sprung buffers on the front here. I don't know if you can see the details on underneath, and little, you know, the extraction points on the buffers themselves. Absolutely lovely. The undercarriage, really nice detailing on there, with some different colours either side. And then along the side here, you can see the louvres have all been moulded in. Absolutely beautiful. We'll go into more details in a little bit, but these were built with two cabs. So you've got one on the front here with the aero end, and obviously you've got the blunted end that was intended to use for freight at the other end. Both cabs with some detailing inside. So on the roof here, we've got some etched panels and lovely detailing on the pantograph. Absolutely superb. Really well done. Got separately fitted handrails on the front here, and you can see the chromed finishes around the front lights there. Absolutely beautiful model, and yeah, Hornby has done a really fantastic job of it. NEM couplings, front and rear. I think the front one, I've read a couple of reviews, it's a little bit protruding and doesn't look particularly clever, and a couple of people have said that there should be a separate cover plate if you're not fitting the coupling, so you can cover that over, but I think that's a small price to pay. In terms of the internals, fitted with a 21 pin decoder, got a die-cast chassis, five pole motor in it, which drives all 4 sets of wheels, and also fitted with twin flywheels on there, so it should be a beautiful runner. But I think it's the livery that does it for me. What a stunning loco. Class 91 Electric has been running on the East Coast Main Line since 1988, running from London to Edinburgh. In 1984, the East Coast Main Line was being electrified, and the British Railways Board wanted a new fleet of high-power locomotives. So they turned to GEC Transportation, who'd done a lot of work on the APT, and they carried across some of that technology into the Class 91. 31 Class 91s were built, all built in Crewe, 6,480 horsepower. Now, it had 2 cabs on the loco. I think I've mentioned this just previously. So obviously with the pointed end, the aerodynamically profiled end, you've got a cab there, but also there's a blunted end on the loco. Now, this was originally, the intention was that during the day it would carry passenger services, obviously with the sort of streamlined end first, and then at night it would haul freight, and hence the blunted end. Loco actually ran with 2 speeds, so 140 miles an hour in a forward direction, that's when it's pulling the passenger freight, and obviously with the aero end first, and then limited to 110 miles an hour backwards. Reason for the change in speed is the aerodynamic forces on the pantograph in obviously in the wrong direction, shall we say, if it's running with blunted end first. Would have damaged the pantograph, so it was limited to 110 miles an hour. Now, I'm struggling to find out how many of these are still actually in service. I'm not sure how many, but they were gradually being retired from about 2020 onwards, so yeah, I think there's still a few running, but not too many. So the full-size loco does exist, including the livery. As I said, it was created to mark the loss of life in the First World War, and to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the start of the First World War. The scheme was created by a designer called Paul Gentleman, and is named for the fallen, and it was unveiled at a ceremony on the 14th of October 2014 in Newcastle, where Class 91 91111 for the fallen was unveiled, bearing the crest of regiments local to the East Coast Main Line. Right, before I take it for a good run around the layout, I just thought we'd see what it does at very low speed. So I've got my HM controller set to half power. You can see how precise the movement is. Beautiful. Very, very high control. Very nice indeed. I'm just going to turn the power up to full. Sorry, wrong way. Let's come back this way. Again, still nice control there. Now, I just want to talk very quickly about the switch underneath, which is for daytime and nighttime running. So I'm just going to put a finger in front of it and just apply some power. Now, there's no cab lights, and you'll note that this side we've got a double light, this side we've got a single light. Now, underneath the loco there is a switch. You can see it just here. I'll just flick that switch across and I'll put it back down. Now, this I'm expecting to be nighttime running, so I was kind of expecting cab lights in there, and the only difference that I can see if I put the power back on is we've now got a double light on the other side and a single light on this side. So maybe there's something about running, you know, with different lights on there that I don't understand, and somebody can explain it to me, or maybe I have a faulty loco, or maybe, you know, actually you need to plug your chip in, and that's when you can turn all the cab lights on and do all the multi-functions that this may have. So interested to know if anybody can shed any light on whether this is indeed a problem, or it's actually supposed to do that. And indeed the same thing happens on the blunt end. We've got a double light on this side, a single light on this side. And if I turn the switch, put it back on the track, you'll see that they just switch over. A double on this side, a single on that side. So again, as I say, it may be that I don't understand the lighting on the loco and the signalling and that kind of thing, and this is correct. But if anybody knows anything, please do share. And then finally, the lights are directional, so when the loco is moving away from you, we do have red lights on the rear of the loco, and that indeed is the same for the profiled end as well. Now the first thing I must say about this is it's very, very temperamental. Slightly the wrong speed, slightly the wrong you know, curve on the track or something, and it does derail very, very easily, which is a little bit disappointing. Right, I'm going to go and run this on the other layout with some coaches behind. Just so you know, I don't have the correct coaches for this, so I'm going to be running some virgin stock behind it. I know it's incorrect, but it's the closest I've got, and yeah, I just want to see it running with some coaches behind. So apologies, but as I say, I haven't got the correct stock for it. Well, I hope you agree. What a stunning looking loco. The you know, the way it's printed on sides, the livery on there is just, I mean, it is perfection. It really, really is something very, very special. The detailing on the loco, it's one of the best locos I've had from Hornby. It really is brilliant. Now, all of that said, as I say, it is very temperamental. Slightest imperfection in the track, and we're talking points, we're talking undulations, we're talking misalignment, and it's off the rails. And I'm talking really, you know, very, very small imperfections to derail this train, which is a little bit, you know, a little bit disappointing. But, you know, I mean, my track's not perfect, so it's, you know, it's one of those things. I've got other locos which will run all day on my track. This one, yeah, it's very, very temperamental. Even a slight change in speed and it can derail, which, yeah, is a little bit disappointing. But that all said, running around the layout, when it does run, it looks beautiful. It's a stunning loco, and something that Hornby should be very, very proud of, and I feel very, very fortunate to own it. And as I mentioned, they did sell out, I believe, before they hit the shelves. Well, with that said, if you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you have a look at my other videos, there's plenty on there: model railways, models, model making, all kinds of things, anything that interests me. If you can subscribe, you'd be doing me a massive favour. And yeah, we'll leave this one there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.